What if a dog was... Go ahead.
We are live.
Interior bridge, night. Ripley staring at the console. She can't believe what she sees. Turns to the view screens, watches Dallas, Kane, and Lambert enter. Interior passageway near airlock. The servo again turns over, another clunk. The outer door has closed. Red light off. The inner door slides open. Dallas and Lambert stagger into the passageway, carrying Kane's body between them. Dallas pulls off his helmet.
Stay clear.
Ash and Parker move back.
God.
Is it alive?
I don't know, but don't touch it.
Take him to the infirmary.
Right.
Ash and Brett move in carefully to help with the limp burden. Interior, infirmary. Kane's helmet. Hands begin to open it with a laser cutter. The helmet separates easily. The two halves part. The life form slowly pulsing on Kane's face. Dallas hesitates, then puts his hand on the small creature, tries to pull it free. Unsuccessful. The alien remains anchored to Kane's tissue.
Let me try.
Ash takes a pair of pliers from a rack, carefully grasps the tip of the creature, squeezes tightly, leans back.
You're tearing his face.
A trickle of blood appears on Kane's cheek.
Not gonna come off without pulling his whole face off at the same time.
Let the machine work on him.
The Ash presses a switch. Machine lights up. Kane is sucked into a slot on the wall. Visible inside through the glass layer, a blinding colored light performs antisepsis. 2 video monitors pop up. Angle on the doorway. Ripley appears. Dallas turns and looks at her a long moment.
When I give an order, I expect it to be obeyed.
Even if it's against the law?
That's right.
Lambert steps forward and slaps Ripley across the face. Ripley slowly puts her hand to her cheek.
You're going to leave us out there.
Maybe she should have. Who the hell knows what that is?
Right.
Ripley looks at Lambert. A moment.
Let's call it settled.
Lambert gives her a curt nod. Ash turns attention to the instrumentation.
Somebody fill me in.
He went into the structure alone. We lost radio contact. When we pulled him out, it was on his face.
Where did it come from?
Somewhere inside that ship.
How the hell is he breathing?
They study the monitors.
Blood's thoroughly oxygenated.
How? His nose and mouth seem to be blocked.
We better look inside his head.
Ash punches 3 buttons. An X-ray image appears. A color depiction of Kane's head and upper torso. The alien is clearly visible, a maze of complicated biology. Kane's jaws are forced open. The creature has extended a long tube down his mouth and throat, the appendage ending at the base of the esophagus.
Something down his goddamn throat. That must be how it's getting oxygen to him.
It doesn't make sense. It paralyzes him, puts him into a coma, then keeps him alive.
Let's kill it. We can't leave the damn thing in him.
I don't know. At the moment, the creature is keeping him alive. If we remove it, it might terminate Kane.
I don't think so. Let's take the chance and cut it off him.
You'll take the responsibility.
That's right.
Slips into surgical gloves. Presses a switch. Kane slides back out of the booth.
Give me the knife.
Ripley takes a surgical laser blade from the case, carefully passes it to Dallas. He manipulates the knife until he has a comfortable grip. Flicks a small button with his thumb. The blade begins to hum. Dallas advances on Kane's prostrate form, touches the scalpel to the creature. The electronic blade slices effortlessly downward. Suddenly, a urine-like fluid begins to drip down from the wound.
Starting to bleed.
The liquid flows onto the bedding next to Kane's head, starts to hiss. Smoke curls up from the stain. Next, the yellow fluid eats a hole through the bunk bed, then drips onto the deck below, metal bubbling and sizzling. More smoke rising, sending the crew into a coughing jag. The crew jostle their way out of the cabin, huddle in the passageway outside, still coughing. Dallas frantically applies pressure to the wound. In the process, smoke of the fluid gets on Dallas's gloves. They begin to smoke. Dallas leaps back, pulls them off, then runs into the corridor. Interior, passageway outside infirmary.
It's gonna get through the decks and get out to the hull.
He starts to run for the companionway. Interior passageway, B deck. Dallas wrenches an emergency lamp from a socket, hurls himself down a companionway. The others follow.
There.
A droplet of fluid is sizzling on the ceiling bulkhead. It oozes down, it drips to the deck, it continues to bubble, then it goes through the bulkhead.
What can we put under it?
Ripley and Parker charge down the companionway below. Interior, second level, the C deck. Ripley and Parker move cautiously down the passageway, looking up to the ceiling bulkhead.
Don't get under it.
Interior passageway, B deck. Dallas, Brett, and Ash crouch by the spot where the acid sizzles. Ash fishes a pen out of his pocket, probes the hole in the deck.
It's stopped penetrating.
Ripley comes charging back up.
Happening.
I think it's lost steam, no longer active.
Ripley checks the opening. Ash straightens up, starts to put the pen back in his pocket, changes his mind, and stands holding it by the end.
I've never seen anything like that, except molecular acid.
They use it for blood.
It's the asbestos that stopped it. Otherwise, it would have gone straight through.
Wonderful defense mechanism. You don't dare kill it.
Parker comes up the companionway.
It stopped bleeding.
Yeah, after it penetrated 2 levels.
What about Kane?
Starts up companionway. Interior, infirmary. They return, Kane still motionless on the bunk. The alien remains secured to his face. Wound completely healed over.
Any of the acid get on him?
Dallas approaches, peers at Kane's head.
Doesn't look like it.
Is it still dripping that crap?
Healed over.
There must be some way we can get it off.
And look at Dallas.
I don't think you ought to try again. It didn't work out too well last time.
Dallas gives him a look in return. Ripley presses a button. Kane slides back into the diagnostic coffin. More buttons pressed. Display lights up again, showing the different parts of Kane's body.
I better get some intravenous feeding started. So far, I can't tell what the alien has absorbed from his system.
The machine begins to process Kane's body.
Stain on his lungs.
The X-ray reveals a spreading dark blot in the chest cavity. At the center, the stain is completely opaque.
Whatever it is, it's blocking the X-ray.
After a long moment, the stain spreads.
What happens now?
Ash sets aside his partially melted pen and looks at Dallas.
You go back to work.
Interior engine room, cubicle. Brett at work in the cubicle, Parker supervising him.
I think I've got it. Give it a try.
Parker presses a button. Negative reaction on his monitor.
Nothing.
Damn. I was sure that was it.
Well, it wasn't. Try the next one.
Right.
Adjust several toggles.
This goddamn woman. I'll tell her what's happening. Mike Johnson is happening. A lot of hard work. Real work.
Interior bridge, night.
You ought to try it sometime.
I've got the toughest job on the ship. I have to listen to your bullshit.
Interior engine room, cubicle.
Get off my back.
I'll get off your back when 12 module is fixed.
She clicks off. Parker turns away.
Smart mouth broad.
Interior, infirmary. Ash running tests on the equipment. Kane respirating on the view screens above, still deep within a coma. All instruments recording his life processes. The alien's position remains unchanged. Ripley approaches, sits near Ash.
Anything new?
He's holding, no changes.
What about the creature?
It's got an hour later of protein polysaccharides, a lot of amino acids for prolonged resistance to adverse elemental conditions. Is that enough for you?
Plenty. What's it mean?
Sorry, scrolling. Interesting combination of elements, making it one tough little son of a bitch.
Is that why you let it in?
I was following a direct order. Remember?
While Dallas and Kane are off the ship, I'm senior officer.
Yes, of course. I forgot.
You also forgot the Science Division's basic quarantine law.
No, that I didn't forget.
You just broke it.
What would you have done with Kane? His only chance at staying alive was to get into the infirmary.
By breaking quarantine procedure, you risk everybody's life.
Maybe I should have let him die out there. Maybe I have jeopardized the rest of us. It's a risk I'm willing to take.
This is your official position as a science officer, not exactly out of the manual.
The first position of science is the protection and betterment of human life. I take responsibility as seriously as you do. You do your job, and I'll do mine.
Ripley stands, looks at Ash, walks out. Interior, mess. Lambert playing with some string, amusing Jones. Cat's cradle. They both look bored. Interior engine room cubicle, Parker and Brett at work at the final intake screen. Interior narcissus. Dallas listening to a primitive tape, his foot tapping with the rhythm. Beep. An interruption on the communicator.
Dallas,
I think you should have a look at Kane. Something's happened.
serious?
Interesting.
Dallas exits. Interior corridor outside infirmary window. Ash stares through the window. Dallas joins him. Ripley appears behind. A long pause.
Gone.
Kane's prone form. The alien is no longer on his face. Kane's still unconscious, but continues to breathe, face covered with sucker marks.
The door is closed. It must still be in there.
We can't open the door. We don't want to let it out.
Yeah, I remember. We can't grab it. We can't kill it.
Maybe we can catch it.
As long as we're careful not to damage it.
Interior infirmary. They enter cautiously. Dallas begins moving slowly around the room, picking up a stainless steel tray, looking. Ash and Ripley do the same. Ripley bends down and peers under the bunk. Nothing. Accidentally kicks over a tray. She stands. Doesn't see the alien on a ledge above her. Her shoulder brushes against the creature. It drops on her. She screams, twists. The alien drops to the floor, then lies motionless. Its skin faded to a dead-looking gray. Ripley doesn't raise her eyes from the creature. Prods the alien. No response.
I think it's dead. You okay?
Yeah.
She carefully touches the creature with a metal probe, finishes the motionless life form into the tray, quickly closes the lid, lifts it into a stainless steel table. Bright light trained on the alien, the creature in a supine position. Ash touches the alien with a surgical instrument.
Look at those suckers. No wonder we couldn't get it off of him.
Its mouth.
It's this tube thing up in here. It's hardening. It's dead. No sign of life whatsoever.
Let's get rid of it.
This has to go back. This is our first contact with a specimen like this. All kinds of tests need to be run.
That thing bled acid. God knows what it'll do when it's dead.
I think it's safe to assume it's not a zombie. Dallas, we have to keep this specimen.
Pause.
You're the science officer. It's your decision.
Then it's made. I'll seal it in a stasis tube.
Pause.
What about Kane?
Ash turns back to the bunk, studies the life support gauges. Kane continues to breathe steadily.
Running a fever and still unconscious. The machine will bring his temperature down. His vital functions are strong. Who knows? He may make it.
Ash begins to seal the alien in a large vacuum tube.
I need some coffee.
She turns and walks away. Interior, computer annex, Ripley and Dallas.
How could you leave that kind of decision to him?
I just run the ship. Anything that has to do with Science Division, Ash has the final word.
How does that happen?
Same way everything else happens. Orders from the company.
Since when is that standard procedure?
Standard procedure is do what they tell you. Besides, I only know about flying. I haul cargo for a living.
Did you ship out with Ash before?
First time. I went 5 hauls with another science man. Then 2 days before we left Thetis, replaced him with Ash.
She looks at him.
So what? They replaced my warrant officer with you.
I don't trust them.
I don't trust anybody. What's holding up repairs?
They're pretty much finished now.
Why didn't you say so?
There are still some things left to do.
Like what?
We're blind on B and C decks, reserve power systems blown.
That's crap. We can take off without him.
Is that a good idea?
I want to get out of here. Let's get this turkey off the ground.
Exterior planet, sunrise. The Nostromo's engines roaring, belching out streams of superheated air. The starship vibrates, begins to surge forward.
Interior bridge, sunrise. The crew at their posts, an electrical hum permeates the air.
Lock tractor beams.
The pitch of the hum changes, the ship levels itself.
Retract leading struts.
Exterior planet, sunrise. The Nostromo hovering above the ground, held on beams of shimmering force. The landing struts begin folding.
Interior bridge, day.
Take us up.
Lambert bends over the voice amplifier.
1 kilometer on ascension.
Exterior planet, the Nostromo begins to levitate skywards, seemingly pushed upward on the beams of light.
Interior bridge, day. The ship continues to vibrate.
Switch on lifter quads.
A powerful deep throbbing begins. The vibrations increase.
Everything holding together down there?
Interior engine room, cubicle. Parker and Brett strapped in and vibrating.
We fix something, it stays fixed.
Right.
Exterior Nostromo day. The starship hovering below cloud ceiling, then begins to accelerate through the dense atmosphere.
Interior bridge, day. All view screens operational.
Engage artificial gravity.
Lambert throws a switch. The ship lurches.
Engaged.
Altering the vector now.
A huge tremor runs throughout the ship.
Dust is clogging the damn intakes again. We're overloading.
Just hold us together until we're beyond G1.
The pitch of the engine changes, deepens.
Exterior Nostromo day. The ship moves at an acute angle, slices through the boiling clouds.
Interior engine room cubicle. Parker and Brett watch the gauges. Interior bridge day. Outside the screens, clouds, clouds, clouds. Another tremor runs through the ship, the crew's eyes riveted to their instruments.
Let's pick up the money and go home.
Exterior Nostromo. The ship clears the top of the cloud layer, bursts out onto star-sprinkled space, trailing a wake of glimmering dust flecks attached itself to the hovering refinery.
Interior engine room cubicle. Brett waves his arms in exultation.
We did it.
Walk in the park. When we fix something, it stays fixed.
Big smiles. Interior bridge. The Nostromo now safely beyond gravity.
Set our course and get us up to light +4.
Lambert begins pushing buttons.
Feet, get me out of here.
Exterior, outer space. The Nostromo now at light speed. Perceptible movement in the surrounding universe. A corona effect emerges. Stars approaching the Nostromo appear blue. Receding stars going to amber. Red shift, made visible because of the craft's velocity.
Interior mess. Parker, Brett, Dallas, and Ripley around the table drinking coffee.
The best thing to do is just to freeze him. Stop the goddamn disease. You can get a doctor to look at him when we get back home.
Right.
Whenever he says anything, you say right. You know that, Brett?
Right.
What do you think, Parker? Your staff just follows you around and says right, like a regular parrot.
Parker turns to Brett.
Yeah, shape up. What are you, some kind of parrot?
Right.
Knock it off. Kane will have to go into quarantine.
Yeah, so will we.
Lambert enters.
How about a little something to lower your spirits?
Thrill me.
According to my calculations, based on the time spent getting to and from the planet and the speed at which it's moving away from the other,
Give me the short version.
it'll take us 6 weeks to get back on course.
How far to Earth?
10 months.
Christ.
Beep.
Dallas.
Come and see Kane right away.
Any change in his condition?
It's simpler if you come see him.
Interior corridor, outside infirmary window. What they see is not what they expect. Kane is sitting up in bed, wide awake. They enter.
Kane, are you all right?
Mouth's dry. Can I have some water?
Instantly, Ash brings him a plastic cup and water. Kane gulps it down in a swallow.
More.
Ripley quickly fills a much bigger container, hands it to Kane. He greedily consumes the entire contents, then sags back, panting, on the bunk.
How do you feel?
Terrible. What happened to me?
You don't remember?
Don't remember anything. I can barely remember my name.
Do you hurt?
All over. I feel like somebody's been beating me with a stick for about 6 years. God, I'm hungry.
What's the last thing you remember?
I don't know.
Do you remember what happened on the planet?
Just some horrible dream about smothering. Where are we?
We're on our way home.
Getting ready to go back into the freezers.
God, I'm starving. I want some food first.
I'm pretty hungry myself.
1 meal before bed.
Interior, mess. The entire crew is seated, hungrily swallowing down huge portions of artificial food. The cat eats from a dish on the table.
God, first thing I'm gonna do when we get back is eat some dessert, or eat some decent food.
I've had
Probably
worse.
dessert too.
I've had worse than this, but I've had better too. You know what I mean?
Christ, you're pounding this stuff down this stuff like there's no tomorrow.
Pause.
I mean, I like it.
No kidding.
Yeah, it grows on you.
It should. You know what they make this stuff out of?
I know what they make it out of. So what? It's food now. You're eating it.
Suddenly, Kane grimaces.
What's wrong?
Kane's voice strains.
What's the matter?
I don't know. I'm getting cramps.
The others stare at him in alarm. Suddenly, he makes a loud groaning noise.
Ah!
Clutches the edge of the table with his hands, knuckles whitening.
Breathe deeply.
Kane screams.
Oh God! It hurts so bad. It hurts. It hurts. Oh.
What is it? What hurts?
Kane's face screws into a mask of agony. He falls back into his chair.
Oh my God. Oh.
A red stain, then a smear of blood blossoms on his chest. The fabric of his shirt is ripped apart. A small head the size of a man's fist punches out. The crew shouts in panic, leap back from the table. The cat spits, bolts away. The tiny head lunges forwards, comes spurting out of Kane's chest, trailing a thick body, splatters fluids and blood in the wake, lands in the middle of the dishes and food, wiggles away while the crew scatters. Then the alien disappears from sight. Kane lies slumped in his chair, very dead. A huge hole in his chest. The dishes are scattered, food covered with blood.
No, 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 no.
What was that? What the Christ was that?
It was growing in him the whole time, and he didn't even know it.
It used him for an incubator.
That means we've got another one.
Yeah, and it's loose on the ship.
Slowly, they gather around Kane's gutted corpse. Then they all look at one another, then at Kane, dead on the table. Interior corridor, A deck, empty. Parker and Brett descend companionway. They join Ash, Lambert, Ripley, and Dallas.
Any signs?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Don't see a goddamn thing.
Didn't see anything.
We can't go into hypersleep with that thing running loose. We'd be sitting ducks in the freezers. We have to kill it first.
We can't kill it. If we do, it will spill its body acids right through the hull.
Son of a bitch.
We have to catch it and send it from the ship.
Our supplies are based on us spending a limited amount of time out of suspended animation. Strictly limited.
First, we have to find it.
No. First, we've got something else to do.
He looks at Kane's body through the mess doorway. Interior airlock. Kane's body is wrapped in a makeshift shroud. Interior bridge. The crew looking at Kane's body on view screens. Silent, depressed.
Inner hatch sealed.
Ripley nods.
Anybody want to say anything?
Nothing to say. He nods to Ripley. She presses a button. Interior airlock.
The outer hatch opens, yawning space outside. Kane's body shoots out into eternity. The hatch closes.
Interior mess. The crew is assembled.
I've checked on the supplies. For about a week, we can stay out of hypersleep.
And what?
We run out of food and oxygen.
All right, that's what we've got. A week. It's plenty of time.
I say we put on our pressure suits and blow all the air out of the ship. That might kill it.
What a swell idea.
What's wrong with it?
We've got 48 hours of air in our pressure suits, and it takes 6 months to get home.
Other than that, a swell idea.
Parker won't give up on this idea.
Okay, maybe we could cut some kind of special lines to the tanks. Brett and I are pretty good at practical engineering. We got us backup, you know?
All by yourselves.
I hate to point this out, but it might be better off without oxygen. It lived that way long enough.
There's another problem. How do we find it? There's no visual communication on B and C decks. All the screens are out.
We're going to have to flush it out.
Sounds great, but how?
Room by room. Corridor by corridor.
That's one of those suggestions that nobody likes.
What do we do when we find it?
Trap it somehow.
We had a really strong piece of net. We could bag it. I could put something together. A long metal rod with a battery in it. Only take a few hours.
Why do we listen to this meathead?
Dallas turns it over.
He might be right.
Exterior, outer space. The Nostromo continues through the vortex.
Interior, infirmary. Dallas enters. Ash working at a readout section.
I want to talk.
I'm a little busy at the moment.
Pause.
I don't care.
Pause.
All right, go ahead.
Why did you let the alien survive inside Kane?
I'm not sure you're getting through to me.
Mother was monitoring his body. You were monitoring Mother. You must have had some idea what was going on.
What are you trying to say?
A long moment.
You want the alien to stay alive? I figure you got a reason.
Name one.
Look, we both work for the same company. I just want to know what's going on.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I don't like any of these insinuations. The alien is a dangerous form of life. I don't want it to stay alive any more than you do.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. You should be too.
Dallas walks out. Ash watches him go, stares in his direction for a long while. Interior narcissist. Dallas seated in the shuttlecraft, staring at the myriad lights of outer space. Ripley climbs in beside him.
Thought I'd find you here?
Dallas continues to stare.
Are the nets finished?
Pause.
We've got an hour. Look, I need some relief.
Why did you wait till now?
Ripley
Let me
leans
tell you
forward.
Let me tell you something. You keep staring out there long enough, they'll be peeling you off the wall.
Ripley begins taking off her boots.
We're the new pioneers, Ripley. We even get to have our own special disease.
Tired of talking.
She rises and removes her upper garments.
You waited too long.
Give it a try anyway.
Clothing removed, his arms move around her. Interior bridge, the crew is assembled. Brett unfolds several yards of asbestos netting. Hands out 5 thin rods, each of them like metal broom handles.
I put portable generators in each of these. You're insulated down here. Just be goddamn careful not to get your hand on the end.
He touches the tip to a metal object, a blue spark leaps.
It won't damage the little bastard unless its skin is a lot thinner than ours. It'll just give it a little incentive.
Now, if we could only find it.
Ash picks up a portable unit.
I've taken care of that. Tracking device. You set it to search for a moving object. Hasn't much range, but when you get it within a certain distance, it starts beeping.
Ripley takes the tracker from Ash's hand.
Key on.
Micro changes in air density. Keep it pointed ahead of you.
We'll break into 2 teams. Whoever finds it first catches it in the net and ejects it from the nearest airlock. For starters, let's make sure the bridge is safe.
Parker turns on his unit, scans it around the room.
We seem to be okay. if this damn thing works.
Ash and myself will go with Lambert. Brett and Parker will make up the second team. Ripley, you command it.
They start doling out the equipment.
Channels are open on all decks. We'll be in constant touch.
Interior passageway, A level. Lambert and Dallas carry the net. Ash walks directly behind, carrying the tracking device. He continually scans from side to side. Lambert stops by a stairwell.
Anything down there?
Interior passageway, B level. Parker and Ripley move silently along, Ripley ahead of them with the tracker by the stairwell.
Nothing.
They move on. A small light flashes.
Hold it. I've got something.
Parker and Brett grow tense, start looking around.
Where's it coming from?
Ripley peers closely at the tracker.
Machine's screwed up. I can't tell. Needles spinning all over the dial.
Goddamn malfunction.
Ripley turns the tracker on its side. The needles stabilize.
No, just confused. It's coming from below us.
They all look down at their feet. Interior maintenance, C level. Ripley, Parker, Brett come down a ladder onto an endless, oily corridor. They stop at the foot of the companionway. They move down corridor into darkness.
Okay?
Looks at the tracker, nods down the passageway, stops.
Back this way.
They begin to walk in that direction, entering drab sections of the ship surrounded by deep shadows, footsteps clanging on the metal deck.
I thought you fixed 12 module.
We did.
The circuits must have burned out.
They switch on lights, move around 2 turns.
Wait,
They stop quickly, almost stumbling.
it's within 5 meters.
Parker and Brett heft the net. Ripley has the prod in one hand, tracker in the other, moves with great care. Almost in a half crouch, ready to leap back. Prod extended, Ripley constantly glances at her tracker. The device leads her up a small hatch in the bunkhead. Perspiration rivers down her face. She sets aside the tracker, raises the prod, grasps the hatch handle, yanks it open, jams the electric prod inside, a nerve-shattering squall. Then a small creature comes flying out of the locker. Eyes glaring, claws flashing. Instinctively, they throw the net over it. Very annoyed, they open the net and release the captive, which appears to be the cat. Hissing and spitting, it scampers away.
God damn it. Hold it.
We should have killed it. Now we might pick it up on the tracker again.
Go get it. We'll go on.
Right.
Ripley and Parker move down the passageway. Brett follows in the direction taken by the cat, moves across the passageway into the equipment maintenance area. Interior equipment maintenance area, C level. Brett walking between rows of shadowed equipment looking for the cat.
Jones? Here, kitty. Jones?
Scratching
damn it.
noises. Scratching noises. A reassuring cat yowl. Brett moves on. Interior passageway, C level. Ripley and Parker walk along. Tracker signal weakens and eventually stops.
Nothing here.
Let's go back.
Interior undercarriage room, C level. Brett enters, still looking for Jones. Another yowl, followed by a hiss. 2 eyes shining in the dark. Jones. Relieved, Brett moves towards the cat.
Here, kitty. Come on, Jones.
Brett reaches for Jones. Jones hisses. An arm reaches for Brett, the alien. Now 7 feet tall. Hanging from the undercarriage strut in reverse position. Grabs Brett, swings up into darkness. Brett screams.
Ah!
To no avail. In the doorway, Ripley and Parker, they witness the horror. Interior mess. The remaining crew assemble. Long faces.
Now what?
Blast a rod and bastard with a laser and take our chances.
No. At its present size, it's holding enough acid to tear a hole in the ship as big as this room.
It wouldn't do any good. It's self-regenerating. You saw that when we operated.
The only plan that's going to work is the same one we had before. Drive it into an airlock and blow out into space.
Drive it. The son of a bitch is huge.
For once, he has a point. How do we drive it?
The science department should be able to help.
According to Mother, he's a primitive form of encephalopod.
How come it's a he?
Just a phrase. As a matter of fact, he's both bisexual or hermaphrodite, to be precise.
Skip its sex life. How do we kill it?
It seems to have adapted to an oxygen-rich environment, and it's certainly adapted well for its nutritional requirements. The only thing we don't know about is temperature.
Curious isn't that the alien is encephalopod.
What's so curious about that?
It's curious because lower species can't adapt as quickly as higher ones, and this one's doing very well. A real survivor. Might even have as good a chance as we do.
You're getting paranoid again.
Alright. What about the temperature? What happens if we change it?
Let's give it a try. Most animals retreat from fire.
Pause.
I can hook up a couple of incinerating units in about 15 minutes.
Pause.
Anybody got any better ideas?
Nobody does.
Okay. When Parker's ready, we'll work our way back down to C deck.
Exterior, outer space. Nostromo at light +4.
Interior passageway, B level. Parker and Dallas lead, armed with flamethrowers. They descend from companionway. Suddenly, both tracking devices beep frantically. The sound of rending metal up ahead. They move forward cautiously.
It's in that food locker.
Exterior, food locker number 12. More rending noises.
Jesus, it must be huge.
Gotta be using the air shafts to move around.
Dallas raises the flamethrower.
Do these things really work?
I made them, didn't I?
That's what worries me.
Dallas indicates the door handle. Parker reluctantly takes it.
Now.
Parker wrenches open the door. Dallas fires a long blast. Another. Then another. And another. Silence. They move inside. Interior, food storage locker number 12, B level. Charred wreckage, packages ripped to shreds, foodstuff scattered over the floor. Carefully, they poke through the smoldering wreckage.
We didn't get him.
This is where he went.
On the wall, a ventilator grill has been ripped open. They move to the shredded ventilator, shine their lights inside the shaft.
This could work for us. The duct comes out at the starboard airlock. There's an exit on the way, but we can close that off. Then we drive it into the airlock and blast it into space.
Yeah, all you have to do is crawl in the vent with it, find your way through the maze, and hope it's afraid of fire.
Well, Parker, you wanted your equal share.
Yeah.
Get in the pipe.
Why me?
I just wanted to see you get your full share.
No way.
I'll go.
Forget it. You take the airlock. Parker and Lambert cover the exit.
No doubt as to who's going inside the vent. Interior starboard airlock, vestibule. Ripley stands in the vestibule, looks through the bulkhead door to the airlock. She throws a switch, watches the air shaft entrance into airlock open. The trap is ready. Interior maintenance level. Parker and Lambert get set. Interior food storage locker 12, B level. Ash hands Dallas the makeshift flamethrower. He fires a couple of short bursts.
Still working?
Why do you have to go? Why didn't you send Ripley?
It's my responsibility. I let Kane go into the craft. Now it's my turn.
You're the captain. It will be harder on the rest of us if we lose you.
Nothing I do that Ripley can't.
I don't agree.
The decision is final.
He removes the master computer key, hands it to Ash.
If I don't make it back, Ripley will need this.
Ash nods. Dallas turns, climbs into the ventilator opening, just large enough to crawl through. Interior, air shaft, completely dark. Dallas turns on his helmet light. Flips switch on throat mic.
Do you receive me, Ripley, Parker, Lambert?
Interior equipment maintenance area. The hum of vast cooling plants. Large air shafts run off in different directions. Parker and Lambert stand steady by a duct, and Lambert hits the wall amp button.
We're in position. I'll try and pick you up on the tracker.
Parker hefts his flamethrower.
Parker, if it tries to come out by you, make sure you drive it back in. I'll push it forward.
Right.
Interior airlock vestibule. Near the starboard airlock, Ripley pops open the hatch. The airlock is now open and ready. She moves to the air duct opening.
Airlock open.
Ready.
Ready.
Interior air shaft. Dallas begins to crawl forward. The tunnel is narrow, only a foot or two wider than his shoulders.
I'm underway.
Turns a corner, several more tight turns. Instinctively, Dallas pulls back, raises the flamethrower, fires a blast around the corner into the darkness. It roars loudly into the confined tube. Smokes drifts back onto his face. Interior maintenance level, a large rectangular duct in one wall.
That's where it's got to come out if it leaves the main shaft.
Throws a switch, a metal pane rises and seals off the opening.
Let's keep it open. I'd like to know if anything's coming.
Reluctantly, Parker again throws the switch and raises the metal plane. Interior airlock vestibule, Ripley waiting. Interior air shaft, Dallas crawling on hands and knees. Ahead, the shaft takes an abrupt downward turn. He moves towards the corner, fires another blast of the flamethrower, then starts crawling down, head first. Interior equipment maintenance area. Lambert sees something on the tracker.
Beginning to get a reading on you.
Interior air shaft. The shaft makes yet another turn, puts Dallas into an almost immobilized position. Interior food storage locker number 12. Ash staring at the ventilator opening. Interior air shaft. Dallas against the wall of the shaft, clutching his flamethrower. Whispers into his throat mic.
Ripley.
Interior airlock vestibule.
Ready clear.
Interior air shaft.
I don't think this shaft goes much farther. It's getting hot in here.
He readies the flamethrower. Interior equipment maintenance area. Parker readies his weapon. Interior air shaft, double-tiered passageway. The air shaft tributary opens into a larger two-tier air tunnel. Dallas crawls out and stands, moves to a catwalk floor, looks about, moves forward, reaches a repair junction, and sits. His feet dangle beneath the catwalk floor to the next level.
Lambert, what kind of reading are you getting?
Interior maintenance level. Lambert huddled over her tracker, puzzled.
I'm not sure. There seems to be some kind of double image.
Interior air shaft, double-tiered passageway. Dallas sitting, his feet dangling in the dark beneath the catwalk.
It may be interference. I'll push on ahead.
Dallas begins to rise. From below, a gentle movement towards the hanging feet. A hand reaches up, misses his leg as Dallas moves ahead. Further on.
Lambert, am I coming in any clearer?
It's clear all right, but I'm still getting two blips. I'm not sure which one is which.
Dallas stops, turns around, looks back down through the catwalk, lowers the nose of the flamethrower, his finger on the trigger. From behind him, the hand reaches up. The alien is the front signal.
Ah!
Interior airlock vestibule. Ripley bends forward, hears the sounds of the struggle, and Dallas screams.
Ah!
She cries out.
Us.
Interior equipment maintenance area. Lambert and Parker hearing it all.
Oh my god.
Then, silence. Interior mess. Dallas's flamethrower on the table surface.
We just found it laying there. No sign of him. Only a hole torn through the central cooling complex.
The remaining crew stand at the table.
This puts me in command.
Okay.
For the first time, he's dropped his bullshit.
Unless someone's got a better idea about dealing with the alien, we'll continue with the last plan.
Silence.
How are our weapons?
I mean, they're working fine. We could use more fuel for that one.
Indicating Dallas's flamethrower.
Get it.
Right.
He leaves. Ripley turns to Ash.
Any ideas from you or Mother?
Nothing new, just the one you're operating under.
You mean to tell me with everything we've got, we're still powerless against the beast?
That's the way it looks.
I can't believe that.
I'm sorry, Captain. What would you like me to do?
Go back to Mother and keep asking questions until you get some better answers.
All right, I'll try.
He starts to go.
Dallas didn't leave the master computer key with you.
You didn't get it?
No.
Well, we probably won't need it anyway.
He leaves.
I know Ash has got the key.
Why should he lie?
He knows I want to check up on him. Without that key, we've got no access to command priority information.
Swell.
Lambert shrugs, and they start to leave. Interior maintenance area, C deck. Parker selects 2 full methane cylinders, tests them, and moves out. Interior corridor to bridge.
Did you ever sleep with Ash?
No? What about you?
No.
I never got the impression he was particularly interested.
Interior passageway, B level. Parker returns with methane cylinders, turns a corner, comes to an abrupt halt of movement in front of him beyond the airlock. He hesitates. Then another shadowy movement. Interior, bridge. Ripley and Lambert. Parker's voice on voice amp, muffled. Ripley hits a toggle.
Ripley.
Interior passageway, B level. Parker covers the wall communication with his hand.
Keep it down.
Up the corridor, the movement stops. Interior bridge.
Can't hear you. Repeat.
Interior passageway, B level. Parker whispering.
The alien. It's outside the main airlock door. Open the door slowly. When I shout, close it fast.
Interior blister. Ash listens. Interior passageway, B level. Parker still whispering.
Open it slowly.
Interior bridge. Ripley hesitates, starts to reply, then throws the switch. Interior airlock, B deck. Low servo whine. The door opens slowly. Green light throbbing inside the airlock. The creature looks curiously at it. Moves onto the threshold. Interior passageway, B level. Parker watches. Interior airlock. Creature moves further into the airlock, fascinated by a green light. Interior passageway, B level. Urgent whisper into the voice amp.
Now! Now!
Interior bridge as Ripley moves to throw the switch. Interior airlock. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a klaxon wails. The creature leaps back across the threshold of the airlock, bewildered, screams as the inner hatch closes on an appendage. Acid boiling out, the appendage crush. Acid bubbles, metal boils in the door. Interior passageway, B level. Parker watches, frozen. The alien wrenches itself free and comes flying outward, smashes Parker down and flees. On the wall, a green light goes on. Inner hatch closed. Interior airlock, metal still boiling. The outer hatch begins to open. Interior bridge.
Parker?
Pushes a switch, pushes it again.
What's happening, Parker?
In front of her, a green light blinks. Inner hatch closed.
Inner hatch sealed. The outer hatch is open.
What about Parker?
I don't know. Take it over.
Ripley bolts out of the bridge.
Exterior, Nostromo. Airlock opens.
Interior passage near airlock, B level. Parker unconscious. Interior airlock. The inner hatch still closed. Metal boils. The hole is growing deeper. Interior passageway, A level. Ripley runs towards the airlock corridor. Interior airlock. Metal boils in the door. Interior passageways, B deck. Ripley slams into a momentary halt against a bulkhead, regains her balance, and starts running. Interior passage near airlock, B level. Parker is now half conscious. Ripley arrives as the hole in the door blows open. Escaping air shrieks. A flashing sign comes on. Critical depressurization, an emergency klaxon. Simultaneously, vestibule doors close either end, sealing in Ripley and Parker. Door nearest to Parker half closed on one of the methane cylinders, leaving a large gap. Windstorm begins as the hole in the airlock grows. Ripley reaches for the other cylinder, begins smashing the jammed cylinder out of the door. Blood froths at their noses and ears. The cylinder is finally driven out. The door slams closed. Interior bridge. Lambert watches. Emergency light readings. Hull breached. Emergency bulkheads closed.
Ash, get the oxygen. Meet me at the airlock.
Rushes out. Rushes down the corridor. Interior passageway near airlock, B level. Ripley staggers towards an emergency panel. At the far end of the corridor, there is a pinging sound. Misty atmosphere, tries to activate the door. Cannot. Lambert appears outside the other side of the bulkhead, activates the door from outside. There is a rush of oxygen.
Exterior, or Nostromo. Plume of vapor freezes in the vacuum.
Interior, passage near airlock, B level. Repressurization sounds. Parker regains consciousness, struggles to breathe. Ripley unable to move, breath coming in shallow pants. Lambert with an oxygen tank, Ash follows. Oxygen is admitted to Ripley and Parker. And finally,
You all right?
We didn't get it. The warning went off and it jumped back in the ship.
Who hit the warning?
You tell me.
What does that mean?
Guess the alarm went off by itself.
If you've got something to say it. I'm sick of these coy accusations.
Nobody's accusing you.
The hell you're not.
sullen silence.
Go patch him up.
Ash and Parker leave. Ripley turns to Lambert.
How much oxygen have we lost? I want an exact reading.
You were accusing him.
If I could find the command computer key, I could prove it.
You're still accusing him of stealing the key.
You think I'm wrong?
I don't know. Wrong or crazy?
Thanks.
Interior, blister staircase. Ripley cautiously descends the stairs to the blister carrying a flamethrower. Interior, Ash is blister. Looks around the blister, satisfied it's deserted. She puts down the flamethrower, methodically begins to search for the key. Faint tapping sounds, then stops. Looks around, sees nothing. Resumes searching near the blister window. Ripley finds the key. Tapping sounds. She whips around to see Kane's disfigured face slapping against the plexiglass. She stifles a scream, drops the key onto the curved surface of the blister, fishes for it. Kane's bloated face swings in beneath her. She grabs the key and bolts up the companionway. Interior, computer annex. Ripley plugs the key into the board. Databanks come to life. She sits at a console, thinks for a moment, then punches up a code. Nothing happens. Punches in another combination. Nothing happens. Frustration. Another combination, and one screen springs to life. Another combination, she moves to the second keyboard. Screen 1 spells out the question: who turned on the Airlock 2 warning system? Response:
Ash.
Another code: is Ash protecting the alien?
Yes.
New code. Question: why?
Special Order 937. Science eyes only.
She starts a new code. A hand slams down next to Ripley's arm. It sinks elbow deep into the computer. She whips around, faces Ash. Ripley lashes out with her foot, kicks him in the middle. No effect. Ripley twists away. Ash throws a punch at her. Misses. She pushes a chair at him, overturns the desk, and runs through the bridge into the mess. He moves after her. He gets her. Parker and Lambert burst into the mess. Lambert falls on Ash's back. Ash turns to Lambert, tosses her across the room, returns to Ripley, again, choking her. Parker lifts the tracker, steps behind Ash, swinging the tracker, wallop, tears his head off. Wires ascending from Ash's trunk where his head used to be. Ash's hands release Ripley. Search above his neck for his missing head. He walks backward. All eyes on Ash's headless body, he walks the room, still feeling for his missing head.
A robot, a goddamn droid.
Ash turns on him, starts to advance. Parker hits him again with the tracker. Again. No avail. Ash begins choking Parker. Ripley picks up one of the prod sticks, closes on Ash's back, tears away the fabric. Lambert pulls at Ash's legs. Ripley tears at the controls buried in the cavity once covered by his head. Parker's eyes bulge in pain. Ash, headless, choking. Ripley finds the wire, stabs the prod home. Ash's grip lessens. Another stab, electrical flash, the grip lessens. Another stab, a flash of circuits. The headless body collapses, Parker trying to regain his breath.
Damn you.
Kicks the headless body. Lambert looks at Ripley.
Tell me what the hell's going on.
Pause.
Let's find out. Wire him back up.
What the kind of crap is that?
Do it.
They set to work. They begin to reassemble the wiring in Ash's head.
Ash led it on board. Ash let it grow inside Kane. Ash blew the warning signal.
Why?
Special Order 937.
What's that?
That's what I want to know.
Ash's head is placed on the table. His eyes flicker into consciousness.
What is Special Order 937?
You know I can't tell you that.
Then there's no point in talking to you. Pull the plug.
Special Order 937, in essence, asked me to direct the ship to the planet, investigate a life form, possibly hostile, and bring it back for observation. With discretion, of course.
Why not tell us?
Would you have gone?
It wasn't in the contract.
My very point.
They wanted to investigate the alien, no matter what happened to us.
That's unfair. Actually, you weren't mentioned in the order.
Those bastards.
See it from their point of view. They didn't know what the alien is.
How do we kill it?
I don't think you can. Not in this ship, given its life support systems. But I might be able to.
How?
I don't quite know yet. I'm not exactly at my best at the moment. If you could reconnect.
No way.
No, don't be hasty. You'll never kill it without my help.
We've had enough of your help.
You've barely got any oxygen left. If you don't go into hypersleep, you'll die with or without the alien.
Nice try, Ash.
I will do whatever I can to help you. I swear it.
Oh, pull the plug.
I agree.
You idiots. You still don't realize what you're dealing with. The alien is a perfect organism. Superbly structured, cunning, quintessentially violent. With your limited capabilities, you have no chance against it.
You admire it?
How could one not admire perfection? I will kill it because I am programmed to protect human life, as you know.
Even if you have contempt for it?
Even then,
Bitter and angry.
Sorry, Ash. I don't buy it.
you egocentric morons. You'll be ripped to shreds, destroyed, and
Ripley makes a movement. Ash softens.
I can only wish you well.
Ripley pulls the plug.
Ugh, he probably was right. We do need him.
He was conning us.
He was programmed to protect human life.
He wasn't protecting our human lives, and that's all I care about. Anyway, it's done.
Ripley heads to the bridge. Interior bridge. Ripley and the computer annex. Lambert and Parker enter.
He's right about one thing. We've got less than 12 hours oxygen left.
Oh, it's all over.
Gloom.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I think I prefer a painless, peaceful death to any of the alternatives on offer.
We're not there yet.
Lambert holds up a small cart of Spansools, suicide pills.
We're not, huh?
I think we should blow up the ship.
I'll stick with chemicals if you don't mind.
We leave in the shuttle and then blow up the ship.
Interior, airlock, Narcissus. Ripley, Lambert, Parker loading oxygen masks onto the Narcissus.
That's all the oxygen.
That's it.
Now, let's get the food, shut off the engines, and get out. Jones. Where's Jones?
Oh, who knows?
Last I saw him, he was in the mess.
Go look. We don't want to leave him.
I don't want to go by myself.
I always hated that damn cat.
I'll go. You load up the food.
They move out. Interior bridge, Jones lying on Dallas's console. Ripley comes in and smiles.
Jones, you're in luck.
As she reaches for him, Jones jumps off the console and moves away.
Come on, Jones.
She moves after the cat, and we hear Parker and Lambert over the communicator from the coolant locker.
How much do you think we'll need?
Ripley, still in pursuit of the cat. Cut to interior food locker number 6, B level. Parker and Lambert load food.
All you can carry.
Ripley's voice over the communicator from the bridge.
God damn it, Jones, come here.
Interior bridge. Ripley furious, but still speaking gently.
Here, kitty. Come here, kitty.
Jones moves away. Interior food locker 6, B deck. Arms full, Parker moves out of the locker. Lambert is still making her selection, a faint light on the tracker, unnoticed. Interior bridge. Ripley finally corners Jones, finds its box, and tries to put him in it. Jones resists, but it's ultimately futile. Interior food locker corridor outside. Parker attempts to pick up the flamethrower, can't manage it and the food, and drop some of the packages.
God damn.
In the locker, Lambert gathers food.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Just hurry up.
The tracker flashes faster, and now it's noticed. Parker picks up the flamethrower.
Let's get out of here.
Right now.
The alien appears out of the air shaft ventilator. Lambert
Ah!
screams. Unfolding, the alien grabs for her. Interior bridge. Ripley freezes as she hears Lambert's screams. Interior corridor. Outside, Parker looks back into the locker, unable to use the flamethrower without hitting Lambert. He hesitates for a moment, then strides into the locker, wielding the flamethrower like a club.
God damn you!
The alien interior floor locker number 6. The alien drops Lambert. Parker lands a blow with the flamethrower. No effect. The alien strikes him once, killing him instantly. He now moves to Lambert. Interior bridge. Ripley listening on the communicator. Lambert's dying shrieks. Then the voice amp goes dead. Silence.
Parker? Lambert?
She waits for a response, but her expression shows that she expects none. A long moment. Expectation fulfilled. Nightmare without end. Interior B-level companionway. Ripley descends cautiously, holding a flamethrower. Jones is left above, squalling. Interior corridor B-deck. Ripley moves warily, carrying a flamethrower. Nears the entrance to the food locker, looks in, sees carnage. Interior oily corridor, the C-deck. Ripley runs towards the engine room, out of breath. Exhausted, she stops. Gulps for air. Ahead of her, the sound of human weeping. She moves quietly ahead until the source of the sound is directly under her feet. She is standing on a round metal plate. Ripley starts to remove the disc. Interior undercarriage maintenance room number 4. The round opening illuminates a dark ladderway. Still carrying a flamethrower, Ripley starts downward. Pitch black. Ripley arrives at deck level, shines her light. Its arc reveals the alien's lair. Bones, shreds of flesh, pieces of clothing, shoes, bizarre extrusions on the wall. Something moves in the darkness. Ripley spins, turns her light towards the movement. Hanging from the ceiling is a huge cocoon, woven from fine, white, silk-like material. Flamethrower ready, Ripley approaches. Sees that the cocoon is semi-transparent. The body of Dallas is inside. Unexpectedly, his eyes open, focus on Ripley. His voice is a whisper.
Kill me.
What did it do?
Dallas moves his head slightly. Ripley turns her light. Another cocoon dangles from the ceiling, but of a different texture. Smaller and darker with a harder shell, almost exactly like the ovoids in the derelict ship.
That was Brett.
I'll get you out of there. We'll get up to the auto dock.
A long moment. It is hopeless.
What can I do?
Kill me.
Ripley stares at him, raises the flamethrower, and sprays a molten blast. Then another blast. The entire compartment bursts into flames. Ripley turns and scrambles back up the ladderway. Interior oily corridor, sea level. Ripley emerges from below, gasps for breath, and regains control of herself.
Exterior, outer space. Exterior, outer space. At light speed, the Nostromo and the refinery appear to hang motionless. Star clusters rolling past in the infinite distance.
Interior engine room, cubicle. Ripley enters the power center, stares at the massive Light Plus engines, approaches the main control board, begins closing switches one by one. A long moment. Sirens begin to honk, and Mother speaks.
Attention. The cooling units for the Light Plus engines are not functioning. Engines will overload in 4 minutes, 50 seconds.
Interior, oily corridor, sea level. Ripley runs towards the B-deck companionway. Interior B-level corridor. Ripley starts running towards Narcissist and remembers Jones. Interior A to B-level companionways. Jones is howling in his box. Ripley reaches up and grabs him. Interior being level, corridor leading to airlock. Ripley carrying Jones, holding a flamethrower. Jones hisses, fur rises. Ripley stops and stares down the corridor towards Narcissus. The alien can be heard thrashing about the shuttlecraft. Ripley turns and bolts towards the engine room, leaving Jones on the B-level companionway. Interior companionway to oily corridor, E-level. Ripley bounds down the companionway, her footsteps clanging metallically through the ship. A final sprint towards the engine room.
Attention. Engines will overload in 3 minutes, 20 seconds.
Interior engine room, cubicle. The door crashes open. Ripley comes pounding in. The chamber is filled with smoke. Engines whining dangerously. Ripley breaks out in perspiration from the intense heat, and she runs to the controls. Begins throwing the cooling unit switches back into place. The sirens continue sounding.
Attention. Engines will overload in 3 minutes.
Ripley pushes a button and speaks into it.
Mother, I've turned all the cooling units back on.
Too late for remedial action. The core has begun to melt. Engines will overload in 2 minutes, 35 seconds.
A moment. Then Ripley turns and runs from the engine room. Interior, oily corridor, companionway. Ripley runs back down the corridor, up the companionway, exhausted, stumbling.
Attention. Engines will overload in 2 minutes.
Interior B-level companionway. She reaches companionway, picks up Jones. Interior B-level corridor leading to Narcissus. Ripley staggers back towards the airlock. The Narcissus birthed beyond. She drags Jones and raises the flamethrower. Turns to see if the creature is behind her, then advances down the passageway, goaded on by the computer.
Attention. Engines will explode in 90 seconds.
She makes it to the vestibule, looks in the shuttle. Interior Narcissus. Ripley scans the narrow deck. Empty. Interior vestibule. She turns, dashes back, grabs the cat box, and runs back towards the shuttle.
Attention. The engines will explode in 60 seconds.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley enters on the run, hurls the cat box towards the front. She drives into the control chair, hits the launch button.
Exterior, Nostromo, outer space. The retainer clips drop away, a blast of ram jets. The shutter is launched from the mothership.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley frantically straps herself in, G-force from the shuttle's acceleration pulling against her.
Exterior, space. The Narcissus continues to power away from the mothership, the larger bulk of the Nostromo quietly receding. All is strangely serene.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley finishes strapping herself in, reaches and grabs the cat box, the cat yowling within. Ripley hugs the box to her chest, hunches her head down over the container.
Exterior, space. The Nostromo drifts farther away from the shuttlecraft, finally becoming a small point of light. Then, it blows up. It transforms into an expanding orange fireball, pieces of metal flying in all directions. And then the refinery explodes. 200 million tons of fuel blasting silently into the cosmos.
Interior Narcissus. The shockwave hits the shuttlecraft, jolting and rattling everything within, and then all is quiet. Ripley unhooks herself from her straps, rises, goes to the back of the escape craft, stares out through the porthole, face bathed in orange light.
Exterior, space. Pieces of debris float past the boiling fireball, fades into nothingness. The Nostromo has ceased to exist.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley watching the final destiny of her ship and crewmates. A very, very long moment. Then behind her, the lethal hand emerges from the deep shadow. The alien has been in the shuttlecraft all along. The cat yowls. Ripley whirls, finding herself facing the creature. Ripley's first thought is the flamethrower. It lies on the deck next to the alien. Next, she glances around for a place to hide. Her eye falls on a small locker containing a pressure suit. The door standing open, she begins to edge towards the compartment. The creature stands, comes for her. Ripley dives for the open door, hurls herself inside, and slams it shut. Interior, locker, a clear glass panel in the door. The alien puts its head up to the window, peers in at Ripley. Their faces only inches apart. The alien looking at Ripley almost in curiosity. The moaning of the cat distracts it. Interior Narcissus. The alien moves to the pressurized cat box, bends down and peers inside. The cat yowls louder as his container is lifted. Ripley knocks on the interior locker. Ripley knocks on the glass, trying to distract the creature from the cat. The alien's face is instantly back at the window. Getting no more interference from her, the creature returns to the cat box. Ripley looks around, sees the pressure suit, and begins to pull it on. Interior Narcissist. The alien picks up the cat box, shakes it. The cat moans. Interior Locker. Ripley is halfway into a pressure suit. Interior Narcissist. The creature throws the cat box down very hard, picks it again, hammers it against the wall, then jams it into a crevice, begins to pound the container into the opening. The cat now beyond all hysteria. Interior Locker. Ripley pulls on the helmet, latches it in place, turns the oxygen valve. With a hiss, the suit fills itself. A rack on the wall contains a long metal rod. Ripley peels off the rubber tip, revealing a sharp metal point. Interior Spacesuit Locker. Ripley inhales and kicks the door open. Interior Narcissist. The creature rises, faces the locker, catches the steel shaft through its midriff. The alien clutches at the spear, yellow acid flowing from the wound. Before the fluid can touch the floor, Ripley reaches back, pulls the switch, blows the rear hatch. The atmosphere in the shuttle immediately sucked into space, the bleeding creature along with it. Ripley grabs the strut to keep from being pulled out. The alien shoots past her, grabs Ripley's ankle with an appendage.
Exterior, Narcissus. Ripley now hanging halfway out of the shuttlecraft. The alien clinging to her leg. She kicks at it with her free foot, but the creature holds fast.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley looks for any salvation, grabs the hatch level, yanks it. The hatch slams shut, closing Ripley safely inside.
Exterior, Narcissus. The alien still outside the shuttlecraft, within the vacuum of space, the top of its appendage mashed into the closed hatch.
Interior Narcissus. Acid begins to foam along the base of the hatch, eating away at the metal. Ripley stumbles forwards to the controls and pushes the ramjet lever.
Exterior, Narcissus. The creature struggling, jet exhaust located at the rear of the craft. The engines belch flame for just a few seconds and then shut off, incinerating. The alien tumbles slowly away out into space.
Interior Narcissus. Ripley hurries to the rear hatch and peers through the glass.
Exterior, outer space. The burned mass of the alien drifts slowly away, writhing, smoking, tumbling into the distance. Pieces dropping off. The shape bloats and then bursts. Spray of particles in all directions, then smoldering fragments dwindle on into infinity.
Interior Narcissus. Later. Now repressurized, Ripley is seated in the controlled chair. Calm, composed, almost cheerful. Cat purring in her lap, she dictates into a recorder.
I should reach the frontier in another 5 weeks. With little luck, the network will pick me up. This is Ripley, W5645024640H, Executive Officer, last survivor of the commercial starship Nostromo, signing off. Come on, Cat.
She switches off the recorder and stares into space.
Exterior, outer space. The shuttlecraft Narcissus sails out into the distance. Fade out. The end.
The end.
Yeah.
Yay!
We did it.
We did it!
We did it!
Woo!
We did
Yeah.
Well done,
alien!
everyone.
Fucking did it.
It's the alien.
Oh my gosh.
We beat alien isolation
I messaged Sherman
live
this
on
privately,
stream.
but
One among us.
call me Jimmy Fallon the way every time I look